What is the greatest sign of emotional maturity? I'm 17 and already a mother to an 11-year-old girl. That girl is my sister. It's not like our parents are dead or anything. They're just extremely neglectful. My mom's favorite hobby is to leave the apartment for days at a time and come back reeking of sweat and alcohol. Meanwhile, my dad's is to spend as much money on women of the night as possible while my mom was gone. Sometimes they'd engage in their hobbies together, but they always had one thing in common. They both hate us. I remember being 8 years old and asking one of my neighbors how to properly mix baby formula, just so my baby sister Emma wouldn't starve. By 12, I knew exactly what stores threw out still edible food and how to pick clean options. All I cared about was Emma. So on my 14th birthday, when my mom came home with a cupcake she stole from the deli, I immediately put it in the freezer. You see, I wanted to save it for when my sister turned 8. It had rotted so much she couldn't even eat it, but at least we had something to sing happy birthday with. And there was one big thing that Emma helped me with too, having hope. It's like she has this sort of permanent spark in her eyes. So when I finally secured a babysitting job, life got better. I remember seeing her entire face light up when we tried sushi for the first time. "You're the best sister ever!" she exclaimed, making my heart melt. I had to leave straight after, and the hug she gave me was so tight I knew everything I had gone through was worth it. But just as things were looking up, it all came crashing down 10 times harder. Because when I got home, I immediately spotted smoke coming out of our apartment window. Adrenaline began to pump through my body. There were firefighters everywhere, but none of them had managed to get Emma down from the roof yet. When no one was looking, I sprinted into the building with a sleeve covering the lower half of my face. My ears were ringing and not a thought passed through my body. As soon as Emma saw me, I felt her tiny arms cling to my shoulders, and she managed to escape unharmed. When we made it, I crashed. It all hit me. The shock. The burnout. But instead of coming down to open arms and water bottles, I was faced with a flood of camera lenses. Some people even had their flash on. Behind the phones, they were shouting, "You're so brave!" It felt like a real-life episode of Black Mirror. I looked over to Emma, who was sheepishly facing away from it all. "Does anyone have $10? I yelled, hoping to bring Emma to the public pool so I could get her cleaned up. For a second, there was silence. OMG, this girl is so poor that she's grateful for just $10. She's a hero. None of them offered me anything that was actually useful. So I began limping to the public pool with Emma's hand in mine. They all kept cheering like I was doing it by choice rather than pure necessity. Luckily, the pool let us shower for free, but when we got back, we arrived home to something even worse than a fire. It was CPS. The social worker was a blonde woman with an artsy tote bag. Very wholesome. I tried to stand up straight and act mature. "Yes, of course we have parents. They've just been working all day." Her green eyes looked me up and down like she didn't believe me. "They'll be back in the morning once their shift is over." I tried to keep my recited lie upbeat and believable. Emma just nodded at everything I said. "And where are you guys planning on sleeping tonight?" "With our Aunt Jessica." "Okay, perfect. I'll drive you over." A wave of panic washed over me. I hadn't even seen her since I was 4 years old, but I guess this was better than being brought to a foster home. So I gave her the address and hoped for the best. When we got there, Aunt Jessica saw the social worker and forced a smile. Of course they can stay. Family is family. But the second the door closed, her entire demeanor shifted. I told her we should get Emma to bed before I started explaining, and once she was out of earshot, I broke down. I told her everything. The forced maturity, the neglect, the fire. She looked me right in the eye and said, "You've done more than anyone your age should ever have to. Your safety and happiness should have always been a priority." I felt myself choke up and sniffle to hold back tears when she said that. They were the words I've been longing to hear ever since I was 6, and realized that it was me against the world. But her reassurance wasn't enough for me. My parents had given me a lifetime of trauma without facing any consequences. So I decided to expose my parents online and let the internet deal with them. I wasn't sure if my aunt would approve, so I waited until he went for his afternoon nap, and posted what had happened without hesitation. I included everything. The abuse, the forced parenthood, and of course the borderline abandonment. By the time I hit post, tears were streaming down my face. I immediately turned my phone off because I was terrified of the consequences. And when I turned on my phone an hour later, I finally learned why people always say, "Be careful what you post online," because it went viral, but to all the wrong people. The rest of the full story is on my channel.